you. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Good? All right. Now, listen carefully before I get started. Now, I need to know, am I in a conference or am I in a celebration? Clap if you think we're in a conference. If you clap, leave the room. Clap if we're in a celebration. Texas. All right. Now listen carefully. I got two types of speeches I usually give. I got a real boring one. I got a real exciting one. Both contain the same content, but I'm gonna let you decide which one you want. Clap if you want the boring one. Smart audience, clap if you want the exciting one. All right. By the way, clap if you don't care as long as it's good and it's short. No, you weren't supposed to clap at that one. Thank you for having me. Good to be back 2 years later. Wow. By the way, clap if you were here 2 years ago when I was here. Man, I mean, it's an incredible, it's just incredible. Blown away. When Alec called me up, I said, well, what do you got, 2,000, 2,500, what? He says, no, we're about 8,000. I said, what? I was like, what would you say, 8,000? I mean, congratulate yourselves, because that's fantastic growth. Now, before I jump into my presentation, they asked me to share. Alex specifically said, Victor, I want you to share your moment, your freedom moment. So I want to share with you my freedom moment, just very quickly. And it's my story. We're going to keep it short. Now, that's my freedom date right there. May 9th, 2001, 3:48 p.m. I was working for corporate America, but something happened. I got tired. Now, I'm not going to give you the long story, but here's the short version of it. Now, I was raised in Chicago. How many folks are from Chicago? Chicago in the house. I live near the Cabrini Green housing projects. Who's with me? That's what I thought. All right. And by the way, we were poor. We're talking food stamps, government cheese, powdered milk. Clap if you feel my pain. Right? So I've been there. Oh, by the way, take the poverty test. Back in the day, you knew you were poor when you had to, remember when the knob broke off? What'd you use to change the channel? Man, there's some poverty in this room. Yeah, pliers and what else? Screwdriver if you were desperate, right? Young people don't know what we're talking about. Where's the remote? There was no remote. You knew you were poor when the antenna broke off because there was no cable TV. What did you use? A hanger. And if you were so poor you couldn't afford a hanger, what'd you use? Man, there is some poverty in this room. Aluminum foil, right? And if you wanted high def, more foil, right? And my mother said, go to school, get the education, get that JOB. So I went to school, got the education, got the JOB, worked in corporate America. But as time went on, I like to call this thing a quiet discontent. Do you know what I mean before I even define it? You ever get something right here and you go, I'm just not on purpose. This is not what I was meant to do. And so on May 9, 2001, 3:48 p.m., I said goodbye to corporate America. I couldn't do it anymore. Now, when Eric the other day talked about commitment, I understood what he meant. Because you know when you walk into the boss's office, even though I did this on the phone, you know how you walk into the office and say, I quit. What do you think I felt at that moment? Tell me, yell it out. Freedom, euphoria, like screw you, I'm done, right? You feel good, right? But then moments later, when the euphoria is gone, something else sets in. Yes, like what did I just do, right? What did I do? And I went from a highly successful six-figure income, but I knew that in here I wanted to do something different. So I wrote my first book, started promoting my first book, and something happened. I started putting myself out there. I put all the chips in, I burned the ships. I'm gonna do this. That was a commitment. And in my first year, listen carefully, I made $17,000. Yeah, I said 17. My wife was like, I support you when I left on May 9th, 2001. May 9th, 2002, she said, I support you. It's like the fist came down. Wasn't as high. But something interesting, I want to share this with you. Something interesting happened. See, I realized I knew a lot about business, but when you work for a company, something changes. Everything is taken care of. You specifically focus on something. But now I was an entrepreneur for the first time. And that's scary. There is no guaranteed paycheck every other week. There is none. And all of a sudden, I realized I wasn't generating business. Not about you, but I had a quiet panic. I'm an intelligent guy. I got some college degrees under me, but I didn't know how to market myself. And then one day I was talking to a guy. I was telling him my problem. I said, I'm just not getting any traction. My business is not growing. And then he asked me this question. It was a very fascinating question. He said, Victor, what business are you in? I said, with confidence, I'm a speaker. He said, no. I said, okay, was it like a test or something? Okay, I'm a sales speaker. He said, no. I'm a trainer. No. Consultant. No. And I'm like, oh, screw you. What am I? Right? You get the point. What am I? He said, you're in the marketing business first and foremost. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Because what he was saying is, you can have the best product in the world, you can have the best service in the world, but if nobody knows you exist, nobody knows you're out there, guess what? You're not selling anything. So promotion is big. Would you agree with that? We have to promote our business, yes or no? And like you, I want you to understand that it's not easy. Whether it's offline or online, marketing is not easy. So for example, I tried to do advertisement, right? Guess what? Didn't work. So I tried that. Then I tried something else. Guess what? That didn't work. Then I tried something else. Guess what? That didn't work. I tried several things. Public seminars, that didn't work. Search engine optimization, build my own website, do some pay-per-click search engine marketing, that didn't work, but that didn't frustrate me. I just had to figure out the code. What worked for me? Then I came across this little thing called YouTube, social media. And that was me. That fit. And I say this to you because I want you to understand that everybody in here markets differently. There is no one formula for marketing. There just isn't. And I need you to figure out, whether it's offline or online, what is your marketing strategy? And if you try something and it doesn't work, what are you going to do? Next. Try something else till you finally figure it out. But you got to go all in. You got to make the commitment. And does this stuff work? I am an advocate. I'm with Chris on this. I'm an advocate of online marketing because I think it works, and I'll prove it to you. Let me show you a couple of slides. When I look at my data, this is what I look at. Just sharing 2 slides with you. This is my traffic as of today. As of yesterday, on average, if you look at the second number in the box, rather, if you can go back a slide, please. You see where it says 120,000? That means I'm getting 4,000 views per day. On average, I am now getting 1,200, really about 1,000 subscribers per month. 4,000 views per day, 1,000 subscribers per month, and if you know YouTube, you don't have to pay for this stuff, right? Because it's free. And then, when people find you on social media, what does that do? Drive traffic to your website. So here's my website traffic as of yesterday. So all of a sudden now, I'm getting 4,000 views per day. That's shifting over to about 10% of those people are coming to my website. So all of a sudden, this becomes my ultimate lead generator. And I want to just share this with you because I want you to understand, you got to find your marketing, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatever it may be, find what works for you. But now, once we market, and here's where I really want to get into my speech, is that what do you do with these people? How can we sell more effectively? Are you ready to learn how to sell? Yes or no? All right, here we go. Now, let me go through this. Archimedes had an interesting principle. He said, give me a long enough pole and a place to stand and I can move the world. What does that mean to you? It means simply this. Sometimes our clients don't know how to make a decision. It's our job to grow our pole of influence and what? Leverage them to make a decision. Now listen carefully, because I don't like pressure. In today's market, you cannot pressure buyers. Would you agree with that? Pressuring today's buyer is not going to work. For example, when I look at influence, here's Webster's definition. The act of producing an effect without apparent exertion of force or direct command. I don't know about you, but I'm ADD. That doesn't work for me. So here's a simpler definition, right? The ability to guide a person's behavior and make them comply passively. That sounds a little Machiavellian. Let's move on. I don't like that one either. Here's my definition. The ability to nudge without pushing. Do you like that? Because that's what you want to do. This is what you want to, that's what you don't want to, because that's how you do it. I'm going to show you how you can nudge your customers, grow your pole of influence, so they'll make that decision. Let me give you some examples. The Bureau of Labor Statistics came out with something interesting. Because I always have people say, Victor, but I'm just not good at selling. In fact, I'm just not good at selling. Clap if you've ever heard that before. Yeah, right? To you I say, shut up. Did you know 1 out of 9 people employed today are in sales. 1 out of 9 people employed today are in sales. But here's the interesting part. When they looked at the 8 of 9, and they took a closer look at the 8 of 9 who were not specifically salespeople, here's what they found. That they spend 40% of their time influencing and persuading. So we're all in sales whether we choose to accept it or not. Can we now accept that, yes or no? We all do it. Now let me give you some examples of nudging. Did you know that when you walk into a store and somebody comes up to you and says, can I help you find something? Did you know that sales go up 30% by simply asking that question? Wow. Did you also know consumers have a velocity? Listen to this. If there is a narrow aisle, you will walk faster, right? If the aisle is wide, you will tend to slow down. Haven't you noticed when you go to the perfume section, the women's shoe section, what happens to the aisles? They get real wide because you automatically slow down. You're being nudged through the store, and sometimes they need to slow you down. Like, for example, sometimes the aisles are too narrow, right? And you're walking too fast. How do they slow you down? How do they slow you down? You ever go to like the Kmart, Walmart, or something like that? Come on, Target, and you're walking too fast. What do you see in the aisles? Bins, right? And see, those are mental speed bumps, because here's you. Hum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum. Oh, DVDs for sale, $5. Let me check some of these out. Right? Oh, I know you've been there. Don't lie to me. Do not lie to me, right? Some of you, I would never go to Walmart, Victor. Shut up, right? Just shut up. Did you also know that we're impulse buyers? Yes or no? When we go to the grocery store, where do they put the milk? Yell it out. All right, right around here. Whoever said refrigerator, thanks for the obvious, right? Yeah, right? Of course. They put the milk in the back, they put eggs in the back, they put everything in the back because they know what's going to happen is you're going to walk down the aisles, and on the way back you might see some cookies, some donuts, okay? Get the idea? So they're already nudging us to buy more. Did you know that when you're talking to somebody, just by simply touching their arm, one study showed sales increased from 55 to 81%. Wow, just touching the arm. Now remember, I said touch, don't fondle. Big mistake, right? Just gently touch. Sometimes I have to explain these things, right? Next, did you know they did an interesting study? They did an interesting study with waiters and waitresses. And what they wanted to find out is if you gave me your order and I mimicked the order right back to you versus if I paraphrased it, would that impact tip rates? And what they found out is waiters or waitresses that use the same wording as the customer, they mimicked back what they ordered, got 70% more in tips. Wow, just by mimicking. Isn't that fascinating? Influences everywhere. How about this one? Let me ask you a question. You're talking to one of those customers. You're trying to talk to them about Plexus. Now, you got some good news and some bad news. Which should you present first? Raise your hand if you say good news. Raise your hand and say, give them the bad news first. Raise your hand if you refuse to raise your hand, no matter what I'm going to ask you today. All right. Rough crowd. Here's what they found out. That if the person is not motivated, you ever talk to that one person who just, I hate network marketing. You ever meet that guy? A girl, right? That person is one of those negative people. If they're not motivated, you present the bad news first. You say, well, okay, let me tell you all the things you're not going to like about this company, or all the things you're not going to like about this product. What do you think the person is thinking at this point when you say that? Well, at least they're honest. But if they're motivated to buy, you present the good news first. You with me on this? Subtle things you can do to increase sales. Now, did you know that people are more likely to say yes than no if they're in a softer chair versus a harder chair? How cool is that? This tells you that this really has a role in the decision-making process, right? Because, let me fix this here quickly, when this goes numb, this goes dumb. Get the idea? Let's move on, right? Let me ask you a question. If I wanted you to select one of these two burgers, how many would choose the small one? Raise your hand. How many would choose the big ones? Raise your hand. Apparently, we have a lot of hungry people in this room right now, right? Now, did you know, on average, when two options are offered, people will typically choose which one? The smaller one. Now, how could I get you to buy the big one? I could tell you about the features and benefits of that burger. Tell you about the extra meat, special sauce, cheese, lettuce, and all that good stuff. That's selling the feature, selling the benefit. I could do that, but there's a better way. Instead of trying to sell you that big burger, here's what I'd do. I'd offer you a third burger. Here's what studies have shown. When you present 3 options to a customer, in order to avoid making a risky decision, they'll choose the one in the what? Middle. Don't believe me? Go to Wendy's, go to McDonald's, go to Starbucks. There's always 3 options. And where do you think the biggest profit margin is? In the middle, because here's your decision-making process. Too small, too big. Ooh. Okay, be the one in the middle. So from this day forward, how many options are you going to offer your customer? I had a lady come up to me and said, Victor, let me ask you a question. What if I only have 2 options? I said, shut up. Make up a third one. I don't care. Figure something out. It's really easy. Did you know? I'm going to split the room right in the middle. Bam, split the room in the middle. On this side, I'm going to give you a clipboard, a light clipboard, and I'm going to put somebody's resume on it. I want you to review it and tell me how many people want to interview this candidate. On this side, as opposed to a light clipboard, I'm going to give you a heavy clipboard. Put the same resume on it, review the resume, tell me how many people want to interview that person. Which side do you think got the most interview requests? Light or heavy? Heavy. Isn't that interesting? Because, think about it, at a subconscious level, when something is heavier, just the textual feeling of something being heavier, what does it transmit to your brain? Heavy equals what? Quality. You ever do that? You ever grab something, just go like this for no reason at all? Go, like if you're gonna really understand it by just weighing it. But if it's too light, what does your brain say? Immediately says cheap. Now this is important because sometimes when you're talking to a customer, you should have samples with you. And the first thing you should do is what? At a given point, hand them a sample, because just touching the package, just holding it, really impacts the decision-making process. Now, let me ask you a question. On day 1, they set up a display of jams, 6 flavors. On day 2, they set one up with 30 flavors. Which do you think sold more, 6 or 30? One more time? Man, this is a smart audience. Absolutely. Now, here's the numbers. Results were 24%, or when they were offered 24 flavors, only 3% bought. But they were only offered 6 flavors, only 30% bought. Why? You know the answer. A confused mind will never make a decision. And sometimes when we're talking to customers, my God, we just throw up all over them, right? Well, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this. And what does the customer start thinking? Right? So narrow down your choices if you want somebody to make a quicker decision, the ideal number being 3. Let me ask you a question. When you're having a one-on-one conversation with your customer, right? Somebody you're thinking of bringing on board or using your product, what percentage of the time do you think you're looking at them? Yell it out. 10? Okay, apparently you're not even looking at them, right? Right? What percentage of the time do you think they're looking at you? Okay, here's what the study showed. That on average, the client is looking at you 75% of the time. But what was shocking about this study is they found that you, the seller, were only looking at them 40% of the time. You were too busy looking at your data sheet. You were too busy looking at your brochures. You were too busy looking at your products. But the study also found something interesting, that if I increase my level of eye contact to at least 50%, I immediately establish credibility. Isn't that interesting? Just more contact. Now, don't get weird. Don't stare at them like, yeah. Like don't go for the 100%. Don't go for the 100%, okay? All right. Now, Ellen Langer, Harvard psychologist, did an interesting study. Here's what she wanted to find out. Can you get people to do something automatically? Comply triggers, right? Let me walk through an example, because this applies. People were lined up at a copier, and what Ellen Langer wanted to find out is what happens if somebody tries to cut in line and says something like this. Excuse me, I have 5 pages to copy. May I use the Xerox machine? What percentage, yell it out, of the people would say yes? What do you think? Yell it out, yell it out. 5%. East Coast in the house, right? 5%. By the way, I can separate the East Coast from the Midwestern folks, right? Minnesotan folks are like, Yeah, for sure, passive aggressive, go ahead, right? Right? Some of you will not get that. But anyways, what she found out is that 60% said yes, go ahead, cut in front. So Ellen Langer said, wait a minute, I wonder if we can increase that number. I wonder if we can do that. So here's what she says. Let's insert a reason. Because I'm in a rush. Let's insert the reason because I'm in a rush. Does the number go up or down? Bam, you're so wrong. 94% said yes. Wow. 94% said yes by inserting a reason because I'm in a rush. But then Ellen Langer wanted to test one more thing. What if we take out I'm in a rush and put in a non-value statement? And here's a non-value statement. Because I have to make copies. Duh, why else would you be in front of the copy? It has no value. Does the number go up or down? The number goes down, but only by 1%. 93% of the people said yes. Here's what Langer figured out. That when you insert the word because in a phrase, people don't really listen to what comes after. They're like Pavlovian dogs, ding, salivate, right? Wow, some of you got that. I am so impressed. Man, I'm talking to the best of the best when you got that one. Last time I just heard crickets. Yeah, you guys are good. You guys are good. She found out that the word because is a trigger. You get because, and people go, bing, I'll do it, right? I used to slide orders over, go ahead, fill this out because. And people would just like, bing, salivate, grab the pen, and start filling it out. Fascinating. Now, wait a minute. Fellas, clap your hands. Just clap your hands, fellas. Come on, fellas. Look, there's not many of us. Let's stick together. Let me talk to you for a second because I know what you're thinking. If you're a man, especially if you're single, I know what you're thinking. Victor, are you saying what I think you're saying? Are you implying what I think you're implying? Are you telling me what I think you're telling me? Are you saying that if I see a beautiful young lady pass by and I say, would you like to come to my place because that's going to work? The answer is, and the ladies have spoken, right? And you're absolutely right, because Ellen Langer said the request has to be reasonable. And here's how she tested that. She asked people, instead of 5 pages, 20 pages, and look how the numbers go down, right? So simply inserting the word because is a trigger. Try this when you're talking to a customer. Fill this out or do this because, and you'd be amazed at how people just begin to do something. Interesting fact. Now, let me talk about why people don't buy. Let me just go through this. This is my acronym, Mount Nut. It's a visual so you won't forget, right? There's 5 reasons customers don't buy. No money, no time, no need, no urgency, no trust, right? Money, time, need, urgency, trust. Everything falls under those categories. Listen carefully. It's never about the money. Listen to what I just said. It's never about the money. You could argue with me that maybe 5 or 10% of the people simply don't have the money. And I'm with you on that. But in the majority of cases, it's never about price. Too often, the first thing we do is we discount our products because we think that would help us sell. But as soon as you discount your product, what signal do you send the customer? Yeah, it's the worst signal. You actually validate their actual fears. It's never about the money. Study after study has shown it's never about price. Many of you, tell me if I'm right or wrong, have you ever bought something that cost just a little bit more, but you bought it from somebody you trust, right? We've all done that. It's never about time. Show me the value, I'll make the time. Tell me I need it, that's not enough. The key phrase here is urgency. See, our job as salespeople is to create a sense of urgency. And sometimes the customer doesn't see it. They don't see it. They're so focused on price, they don't see how bad they need it. Let me give you an example. I want you to walk through this example with me. Let's say I'm an energy efficiency company. I walk into your house, I review your house, and then at the end of this, I show you a list, I hand you a clipboard. What type of clipboard? God, you're good, you're good. A heavy clipboard, and on there is a list of all the things you can do to improve the energy efficiency in your house. And then I would say something like this: what do you think? Would you like to go ahead and do this? When they did that only, close rates were only 15%. Now, they said, how could we improve that? Listen carefully because this is important. See, sometimes it's not about the product, it's not about the service, It's how you frame the conversation. Watch what happens when you just change a few words. So here's what they did. Same thing, go to the house, review the house, present the list, put it on a heavy clipboard, hand it to the customer, go through the list, and then they say something like this: Mr. Customer, if you were to add up all these energy inefficiency in your house, that would be the equivalent of having a hole the size of a basketball in your wall. And if you had a hole that big in your wall, wouldn't you want to fix it? Get it? Bam. Close rates went up to 61%. Because what did I put in your head now? What visual did I put in your head? What did you see going through that hole? Money, right? And all of a sudden, it's how I position it. It's not about price, it's how you position your product. Using visuals, did you know you're 43% more likely to sell? Did you also know that clients are willing to pay more when you use visuals? So never show up without samples. Lastly, if you don't use visuals, people will forget the majority of what you say within 24 hours. Isn't that shocking? It should be depressing at this point. I'll give you an example of what happens when our customers focus too much on the price. Because I know your situation. Sometimes the customer is just looking at the price, and you almost want to reach across the table, slap them in the head, and say, look, pay attention, I'm trying to create some urgency for you, but they're not getting it, right? Now, you can't do that. Please, I'm not advocating that. But mentally, you have to what? Wake them up. Let me give you an example. This is a true story. So I have a UPS post box, right? Now, I don't get a lot of mail anymore. So I'm talking to Sandy at the UPS store. And I said, Sandy, you know, I'm paying $220 per year. I just noticed the small ones. I'm not getting a lot of mail. I might want to go with a small one. Because in my mind, I'm thinking it's a savings of what? $60. $60 is $60. I don't know about you, but that's 12 lattes at Starbucks, right? More or less. That's my math, right? Now, she saw in my face that I wanted to go for the cheaper option. And I can see her look. She had that Clint Eastwood gunslinger look. Oh, something's about to go down. She's going to sell me, right? She's looking at me. She's going to sell me. And then you know when somebody's about to give you the sales pitch, you kind of mentally brace yourself. It looks like this, right? But mentally I'm like, all right, why should I stay with the big one? And I knew what she was going to say. She's going to say, Victor, you want to stay with the bigger mailbox. You want to pay that extra $60. Here's why, Victor. It's easier access. Bigger is better. It's more convenient for you, Victor. And then she's going to say, you don't have to pick up your mail as often because it's a bigger box. And guess what? Your mailbox won't get jammed, right? You can handle, letters won't get crushed. You can handle packages. Victor, you want to stay with that. But that's not what she said. Here's what she said. She said, Victor, I can see your rationale. You want to save $60. I get that. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Now, when somebody says, let me ask you a question, just brace yourself, right? Because it's coming. She said, let me ask you a question. I said, yeah, what? Because I got attitude at this point. What? You know, what? And she said, let me ask you a question. I said, what? I said, you realize that if you change your box, you'll also have to change your address. I said, so? Then she goes, you'll also have to change the information on your business card. I looked at her up and down. I didn't care. Right? I said, yeah. She said, you'll also have to change the information on your website, so if you don't actually build your website, you have to hire somebody to do that for you. And Victor, on top of that, you'll have to change all the information on your promotional material. Last but not least, you'll have to contact all your clients to let them know that your address has changed. Victor, final question to you. How much time and money is that going to cost you? Man, I looked her dead in the face. And I said, just renew it. That's all. What could you say? What could you say? Because what she managed to do, clients are always focused right here on the price. Your goal is it's back here why they really need it, the urgency. Your job is to bring it top of mind, front and center, and that's our job. Again, it's not about the price, it's understanding urgency. Now, here's some conclusions. We're all susceptible to influence no matter who you are, you're susceptible. The most influential people are the least obvious. Watch those people, stealth, right? And guess what? The rules of selling apply no matter what you're selling. Are we all in sales? Yes or no? Are we all in sales? Yes or no? Yes. You've been in sales since day one. I'll prove it to you. As a baby, you were bawling. Bawling is just another form of what? Selling. You were selling your mother on the idea that you were hungry. That was your first sales pitch. You just didn't know it, right? As you got older, you started begging. Mommy, can I have a cookie? begging is just another form of what? Selling your mother on the fact that you're still hungry, right? As you get older, you start bargaining. Mom, if I do clean my room, wash the car, can I use your car this weekend? That's bargaining. And bargaining is just another form of what? Selling. Let me talk to the ladies for a second. Clap, ladies. Remember when your man friend came up to you the first time? He says, how you doing? What's your name? Where you from? What's he doing, ladies? He's what? Selling. That's the building rapport phase, right? Then he tells you, well, I'm with Plexus. I'm a diamond. And then he says, I drive a BMW, got a house on the hills. Lady, what is he doing? Selling, building credibility. And then he asks you, what type of music do you like? You said, man, I'm old school Southern. I like a little Patsy Cline, Bonnie Raitt, maybe even some Tanya Tucker, Delta Dawn type of thing. And what does he say? So do I. That's what I like too. What is he doing, ladies? He's what? Somebody goes, he's lying, right? That could be true. And then he asks you what type of movies you like. You say, I like romantic comedy. He's like, shut up. So do I. What is he doing, ladies? He's what? Now he's really lying. Fellas, let me ask you a question. You see a beautiful lady walking by, beautiful shoes, beautiful outfit, got the jewelry, makeup, hair did just right. Fellas, what is she doing? No, that's marketing. Totally different topic. Totally different topic. Fellas, this is why we get in trouble. That's marketing, right? We're always selling. Do you guys really know that song, that Delta Dawn song? Oh, heck no. I'm going to start. You go on with it. Ready? Delta Dawn was that you have on. Could it be a faded rose? Oh! He was. Give yourselves a hand, man. All right. I can tell that some of you grew up on Hee Haw, right? Oh, that was my show. That was my show. I was like the only Puerto Rican kid in the hood watching Hee Haw. Like, but it's so cool. It's so cool. Check out the song, right? If they buried all them truckers lost in them woods, you know, stuff like, I dug that stuff. Let's move on. I'm sharing too much. Right? But it's all selling. Now, let me do something real quick. Ebbinghaus has something interesting. Pay attention to this. Did you know that within 24 hours, you will forget 75% of what I just said? How depressing for me, right? And did you know at the end of the month, within 30 days, you'll forget 90%. And the 10% you're able to recall, 50% of that is incorrect. Totally depressing. So I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you some stuff here. Let me walk you through some stuff. I got books. I've written about 14 books. I got some books on motivation, sales, obviously. I got some other stuff here. I got books. I also have a movie, a documentary. I have a documentary. And Emeralds, who's it about? Me. Thank you for your support. Right? So all that stuff. I also have about 17 video series on how to sell. Here, I'm going to focus in for you. Look at the top row. Sales conversations, how to use channels, how to sell. Let me focus you even further. Focus on that one. All this stuff is available on my website for free. Very cool? So if you just go to victorantonio.com, you can download this stuff for free. You know, a lot of you have stretched your dollars to be here, so I'm not going to sell you anything. I want you to enjoy the material. It's great video material. And again, no email required, okay? Is that cool, yes or no? Very cool. All right. Now, I'm about to share with you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I got it like that. Right? All right. Listen carefully. I'm going to share with you my secret formula to success. People always say, Victor, 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 how'd you go from the hood, right? Food stamps, government cheese, powdered milk, to being independent, debt-free, all those wonderful things. I'm about to share with you my secret formula. Listen carefully. I don't usually share my formula with just anybody, but I'm going to share it with you for one reason and one reason only. Listen carefully. Because I love you. All right. Man, that was weird. Okay? Now, rule number one, if you want to be successful in selling is, you got to ask. You got to ask. If you want something, you got to ask. Now, listen carefully. I told my Emerald friends this. I've been married 26 years. Give it up. 4 different women, add up the years, doesn't matter. Emeralds are going, I can't believe they fell for it. Yeah, they did. I'm just kidding. Some women are like, it's not funny, right? One wife, 26 years, right? Been together 28 years, and I told people she's from Minnesota. Tough German Norwegian, Puerto Rican. You got to be in our house to understand, right? And so when I first started dating my wife, I remember we drove from Minnesota to Chicago. And I'm driving. My wife looks over at me, girlfriend at the time, and she said, "Are you hungry?" She asked me if I was hungry. I look over and I go, "No, not really." And I keep driving. I know, ladies, I didn't know back then. I didn't know. Young and dumb, I didn't know. And all of a sudden, within 5 seconds, I feel heat right here. And I look over, and man, she's got that screw face on, like, you know that look, guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? The one that says, time out, 2 hours, cone of silence, I'm not talking to you, right? Type of thing. And so finally, we pulled over to a rest area, and I said, "Sweetie, what's wrong?" She goes, "Nothing." So typical. She goes, "Nothing." I said, no, what did I do wrong? What did I do? We start going to the begging mode. This is begging right here, guys. Hands up, that's begging. I said, what did I do wrong? She goes, "I asked you if you were hungry." I said, okay, dumb. I go, "Yeah, I told you I wasn't." And ladies, what did she say? Yeah, look at you, all in unison. It was like, I was, and you didn't ask me, right? To which I responded, "Why didn't you ask?" What did she say? "You should have known." No, I don't know. I don't know. What do you mean you should have known? Now, ladies, pay attention. Wait a second. Pay attention. Just wait a second. Pay attention. Ladies, that was needed. I'm going into deep water right now. Ladies, pay attention. I'm about to educate you on something. Man logic. Now, same scenario, guy version. Driving. Carl, right there. Even with his cool self. You ever hear Carl talk? Yeah, well, isn't Carl the coolest talker? Give him a hand. Tarl. You know what I'm talking about, Tarl. Tarl's in the car, I'm driving. Tarl says in his cool, melodic voice, "Victor, are you hungry?" And I said, "No, not really." What does Tarl say? What does the guy say? See, guys, get it. I am. Pull over. You gotta ask. We cannot read your minds, women. But we love you. So rule number 1 is you got to ask. Rule number 2, you got to know how to ask. Now, I'm living in Miami. Back in the day, don't judge me, right? And I buy myself a new Volvo. Reserve your judgment. Yeah, I know it's not a Lexus. But that's before I knew Plexus, right? So I bought this new Volvo, right? I pull up to the gas station, right? Swipe the credit card machine to get the thing going. It's not working. So I have to walk inside to the kiosk, right? So I walk inside the kiosk. There's 2 people in line. I'm standing number 3. I'm in a rush. It's Miami. Everybody's in a rush, right? So I'm standing there waiting. All of a sudden, I hear a small voice. Hey, mister. Hey, mister. I'm like, I look over to the corner of the little store. There's a little boy about 12 years old just sitting on the plastic tub. And I'm like, what's he doing there? And he's like, hey, mister. Hey, mister. And I'm like, I'm not in the mood to talk. I'm in a rush. And I said, yes, me? He goes, yes, you. He says, how you doing? I said, I'm good. I don't want to talk to this young man. I'm in a rush. And he says, is that your car? And he points out the door. I said, yeah. He says, why did you choose white? I said, I don't know. He says, how many miles? I mean, it's like the Inquisition. He's asking. He will not stop. Then finally, he says this to me. He goes, one day, I hope to have a car just like that. Oh, man. At that moment, I saw my chance to get out of this conversation. I'm going to shut this baby down right here. I looked at him dead in the eye. I said, son, work hard, and one day you will. Thinking that would close that conversation. Didn't miss a beat. I said that. The young man said, sitting on the tub, stands up and says, sir, that's exactly why I'm here. Lifts up the plastic tub to reveal these boxes of chocolates. He says, that's exactly why I'm here. I'm selling these boxes of chocolates. I want to know if you want to buy one. What do you think I said? I said, no. I know you guys are, that's so evil, Victor. Support the youth, right? So I kind of said, I said, no, thank you. And without missing a beat, the young man said, well, sir, if you're not going to buy a box, would you at least buy 1 bar? I said, well, I'll take 2. I got 2 kids. I'll take 2 bars, right? Got 2 bars. But it wasn't until I got home, pulled in my driveway, I realized I got suckered by this 12-year-old. This kid understood at that age, at that tender age, the door-in-the-face strategy. See, in life, never ask for what you want. Ask for more than what you want so you'll get what you want. I'll repeat that. Never ask for what you want. Ask for more than what you want so you'll get what you want, right? Get the idea? When we're selling to customers, don't start out with your cheapest product. Sell them the big one. And if they say no, sell them the 2 bars of chocolates. You get the idea? But now, look at the psychology of this. It's very fascinating. Let me slow this down, almost like a Matrix movie, right? So he says, do I want to buy the box of chocolates? I say, no. And at that very moment, how do I feel? Bad, right? Little guilt, a little moment in time, I feel bad. That's when a little cobra strikes. He pulls in the second offer. Now, fellas, pay attention, because this is what our wives do to us. Oh, yeah, I'm about to give you the red pill. You're going to wake up, because here's how they do it, fellas. Let's huddle. This is a man hug huddle while we're here. Because my wife comes up to me. She says, one day we're going on vacation. And as you know, when your wife says you're going on vacation, that's what a smart man would do, just go on vacation. So I said, well, where are we going? She says, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. She does this. It's almost like she drops the note, right? She conditions me. A week later, she comes back. Remember that vacation I was telling you about what we're going to do? I go, no. She goes, shut up, you do, right? So she goes, I found the ideal vacation for us 4. I said, what, how much? She said, well, it's a trip, and we're going to go to the Mediterranean Sea. We're going to fly to Barcelona, and from there, we're going to take a ship. It's going to go to Greece. It's going to go to Rome, and all these wonderful things. Now, fellas only, what's your first question, fellas? Yeah, I said, how much? She said, $16,000. I said, $16,000? I said, are you kidding me? I'm not doing that. I'll pay $16,000. She says, fine, let's do the one in the Caribbean. It's only $1,500 per. I said, yeah, let's do that one. Women, I see you. Look, ladies are going, yeah, the cat's out of the bag now, right? Rule number 1 is you got to ask. Rule number 2 is you got to know how to ask. Now, this third part, the last part, is the key ingredient. Without this, nothing else works. Listen to what I'm about to say. That if you use this third element, I will guarantee that you will hit your sales number, that you will sell and be successful. Yes, I said guarantee. Now, I don't usually share the secret ingredient within the secret ingredient with just anybody, but I'm going to share it with you for one reason and one reason only. Why? Thank you. All right. That was very passionate. Whoever said it right there, I love you. All right. Listen carefully. Fellas, let me talk to the fellas again. Fellas, you ever have one of those nights? Remember back in the day when you were young, you were single, you were going out maybe to a dance, a party, or whatever bit? Did you ever have one of those nights where every girl you asked to dance said no? Clap, guys. Okay, those who clap, those are honest men. The rest are in denial, right? So one night I go out, right? It's in college, I go out, right? And so we go to this dance, right? And every girl I asked to dance said no, just no. Now, let me just stop here for a second because I got to share some with you. We used to live in Miami, but now we live in Georgia. Anybody from Georgia? Right? Now, you notice something, right? When you're in Miami, you talk fast, right? But when you get to Georgia, things begin to slow down quite a bit, right? So different speed in Georgia, right? And I remember the first time I got to Georgia, I'm trying to sell this service, and I'm talking to a guy named Larry Aston. Larry Aston is a good old boy, backwood good old boy. I mean, whatever image you have in your head, that's him. Good old boy, right? And I'm talking to Larry, and I'm talking still Miami style, right? And Larry is a good Southern guy, and he says, whoa, 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 slow down, Victor, slow down. Then he says this to me, because in Georgia, they got these little sayings. I kind of like them, right? If you're depressed, you're in low cotton. Never heard that one. I thought that was new, right? If you're mad, somebody licked the red off your candy cane. So I'm talking to Larry, and I'm talking. I said, whoa, 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 slow down. He said, Victor, man, listen to you. I feel like a monkey making love to a skunk. I swear to you, I could hear the gears grinding in my head. They were just like, well, and I said, well, what does that mean, Larry? What does that mean? Without missing a beat, he says, man, I don't know if I had all I want, but I know I had all I can take. Love Georgians. My favorite. Love Georgians, right? So, that image is so wrong. Bad Victor, right? So sure enough, I'm at this place, and every girl I asked to dance is saying no. Now, again, I'm in low cotton right now. I feel like a monkey making love to a skunk. I've had enough of this, right? And I'm about to leave. But at that moment, I heard in my head the words of my mentor. See, many years ago, I had a mentor. His name was Jose Santana. Now, Jose Santana was Spanish. I'm talking Spain Spanish, Canary Island Spanish. And he talked like Ricardo Montalban. He would say my name, he would go, Victor. And I was like, dude, that is sexy. Can you do that again? I'm a man, but can you just do that again? Victor. He would do that, right? And so one day, now Jose was one of those salespeople that every year he just knocked it out of the park. Just bam, bam, bam. Probably like Celeste or something. Celeste? Me and her are best friends now. She doesn't know it yet, but we are. Congratulations, by the way. Now, he was that salesperson, right? Just knocking it out of the park. So one day I walked in his office because I'm frustrated. I can't sell. And I said, Jose, what is the secret to selling? What is the secret to your success? Every year you knock it out of the park. He says this to me in that Ricardo Montalban voice. He goes, very simple. I go, what's very simple? He goes, I said, what's your secret to success? He says, just keep asking until someone says yes. I said, what? I said, are you telling me that your success is predicated on just keep asking until someone says yes? What did he say? Yes. So, back to the club. I'm about to hit the door. I'm about to leave. And what do I hear in my head? Just keep asking until someone says yes. So at that moment, I make a decision. I'm going to go back in there, and I'm going to keep asking till one of them says yes. So I pick out the first one. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You got to understand. It doesn't matter. I was looking for a win. we can judge for the quality of the wind later, right? Did he just say that to a group of women in this audience? Yes, he did. I was desperate, right? So I go up to the first one and say, would you like to dance? She said, no. I said, next. Now, wait a minute, wait. Don't get ahead of me. I didn't say it out loud. That would be just rude, right? Okay? Because you're like, that is so wrong, I'm leaving, right? No, I didn't say it out loud. I just mentally said, next. Second one, fourth one, seventh one. No. Just keep asking until one of them says yes. 11, 12, finally, number 14 said yes. Get out on the floor. DJ says, we're going to take a 5-minute break. I'm like, no! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So let's go through the rules real quick, but I want to show you some data now to support what I'm saying. One is that you got to ask. Two, you got to know how to ask, but the most important ingredient is you got to know what? To keep asking. Here's some studies that was done. I love this study because it highlights how persistence really is the key to winning in sales. Got to be optimistic, but persistence is the key. Did you know that 2% of sales are made on the first call? Did you know 3% are made on the second, 5% on the third, 10% on the fourth, and 80% of all sales are made on the fifth or subsequent call? See, now that begs the question. How many people actually make that fifth call? Here's the data. 80% of all new sales are made on the fifth attempt or more, right? You got that? Here are the numbers. Did you know that 48% quit after one time? Did you also know that 25% quit after the second attempt? Now, is that good news or bad news? It's fantastic news. That means most people are dropping out after the second call. By the third, 12% drop out, 5% quit, and sometimes those who really want to sell just keep asking until someone says yes. Are you with me on this one? So the rule is what? Repeat them after me. One is you gotta, then you gotta keep asking until someone says yes. That's my favorite one. Can we just go there? That's the favorite one. Now, I want to close this out because I know you got some other things to do and you want to partay, right? Leanne rhymes and all those wonderful things later on today. Leanne rhymes, yes? All right, so here's what I want you to do. I'm going to close out, and the way I close out is I want everybody to take the pledge. Everybody stand up, please. Please stand up. It's a quick, what I call my logic of success pledge. I want you to remember this in your darkest moments. All right, listen carefully. Do what I do, repeat what I say. Fingers up in the air just like this. Listen carefully. Say the following. I pledge allegiance to my thing. Some of you look really confused. My bad. Put your finger down for a second. It's my fault. I always do this. Apparently, I didn't explain the difference between a thing and a thing. See, in life, if you do a thing, it's something you don't really like doing. You do it just because you got to get by. You do it for every other reason but the right reason, right? And if you always do a thing in life, you'll never be successful because you'll never achieve your potential. So in life, we don't want to do a thing. We want to do a what? Man, because when you do your thing, beautiful things begin to happen, right? Yeah. You meet great people, the law of attraction kicks in, and everybody gets an automatic MBA, which stands for what? Mega Bank Account. Get the idea? All right. Fingers back up in the air. Let's do this right. I pledge allegiance to my thing. Man, look at your thing. Let it know you care. To my thing. I will rise above. Doing what I love. I will make that dough. Look how happy you got. You're like, yeah, we like that part, babe. One more time. I will make that dough. Doing what I know. And those who laugh. Louder like you mean it. And those who laugh can kiss my... No, can kiss my assets, can kiss my assets. Plexus, you've been great, congratulations. God bless you. God bless the United States. Take care. Thank you.